Shalom everyone, Chag Sameach, quick afternoon Torah, pre-7th day of Pesach. Rabbi Eric Solomon, Raleigh, North Carolina. Beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous spring day. You feel the Song of Songs and Shir Hashirim in the air. All right, 7th day of Pesach starts tonight through tomorrow, then directly into Shabbat, the end of the Passover holiday. And the main thing that happens tomorrow, which we will chant in traditionally in Shul, is the splitting of the Sea of Reeds, of Yam Suf, and going through. And that story is beautiful and amazing. It's been depicted in not only the Torah, but also all kinds of movies and stories and stuff like that. There's a famous legend about it. So according to the Midrash, or an Agadah, when we were there and Moshe, and we're looking at the water and thinking, how are we going to get through the other side? Our people were like perplexed. Even Moshe was perplexed. Like, what's going to happen? How are we going to get from here? And Pharaoh's coming with all the courtiers, all the Egyptians are after us. They're chasing us out. We got the water on one side, them on the other side. Looks like, we're stuck again after all the plagues and all the other tsuris. We're stuck. What's going to happen? So according to the Midrash, there's this famous guy, Nachshon ben Aminadav, who jumps into the water, and the water goes all the way up to his neck. He looks like he's maybe going to, God forbid, drown. And right before that happens, the sea split. And the classic drash on that, basically, is that while the people are, scared and know what's going to happen, and Nachshon basically jumps in. Like, he takes a risk. He goes for it. He basically says, use another religious language, he does a Hail Mary, right? He just says, I'm going to make it best shot. If we could sit here and just talk about it and be scared, but I'm going to go for it. And by me going into the water, it will cause things to happen. Instead of sitting and waiting for things to happen, I'm going to make them happen. That's a very powerful teaching for us about Jewishly, but really universally. That sometimes you just can't wait for the world to invite you. You got to make the world come to you, so to speak, and jump in. But there are different versions of that legend, that Agadah, and the ones, even a couple of them, all talk about, not just about Nachshon jumping in the water and getting to split, which is very cool. And by the way, not Moshe. Moshe has a lot of roles, Moshe Rabbeinu, but even he seemed to be paralyzed with fear at that moment. Someone acted. But it's even like what was happening before. So it says that people were fighting with each other. Everyone's just saying, what are we going to do? You did this, it's your fault, and pointing fingers and fighting with each other. There's even issues about, who should go first because which tribe should go first because which tribe is a more important tribe. Like all kinds of petty, jealous, ego-focused junk when their life is in jeopardy. And so the message, it's about taking a risk. It's about leading. But it's also about when people are talking about irrelevant shtiyot, junk, nourishkeit, that some people are going to say, I'm not going to get involved in that. I'm just going to act. I'm going to do. I'm going to let my actions speak for me. And that, according to the story, is what God rewards. And so I leave that for us as we enter the end of Pesach here. Pesach has so many different messages. The story is so rich. Every year it has something new. But the end of Pesach, that starts tonight into tomorrow, in the end of the story, when we go through, don't forget Nachshon. Nachshon didn't only have the guts and the kind of ambition and the willingness to take risks, which is cool. But he's also a person that when people were arguing about stupidity, he said, you know what? Shah. Stomat pe. Sheka bavakasha. Quiet, everybody. I'm going to act. I'm not just going to talk about it. I'm going to do something about it. And great things happen in this world through action. And by the way, people may critique you from the outside. They may be willing to be the kvetchers. But to get in the arena, as was once said, I think by Teddy Roosevelt, to actually do something, to try to make a difference in the world, you'll be critiqued for it. But that's the great leaders. That's who makes change. That's who steps up in the moment and does something about it. And so that's our message. There are things all of us have to do, think about. It's complicated. There is a time for talking. There's also a time for action. And we can't sit back and say, I'm afraid to act. I'm afraid someone's going to criticize me or Failure isn't the end. Failure happens. The willingness to take a risk and to lead and to do, and that's what God rewards. Chag Sameach, everyone. A beautiful Shvi Shal Pesach, end of Pesach. Enjoy your last chametz. And may we all be motivated. When we hear people just talking, and sometimes we got to act. Kol tu, Chag Sameach.